Look around you. Not the world you were promised, not the world people say exists, but the world that actually operates beneath smiles, laws, and polite words. Niccolò Machiavelli understood something most people never will. The world is not ruled by morality, it is ruled by power. 500 years ago, Machiavelli watched kingdoms collapse, not because they were evil, but because they were naive. He saw good men destroyed by their own honesty. He saw loyal men betrayed by the very people they trusted. And he saw ruthless men rise, not because they were cruel, but because they understood reality. Machiavelli did not write to make people better. He wrote to make rulers survive. That is why his name still makes people uncomfortable. Because Machiavelli did not describe the world as it should be. He described it as it is. Men are not loyal. They are conveniently loyal. Men are not kind. They are kind when it costs them nothing. And men do not respect morality. They respect consequences. This is the foundation of Machiavellian thought. If you depend on love alone, you will be betrayed. If you depend on honesty alone, you will be outmaneuvered. If you depend on kindness alone, you will be used. Machiavelli warned that those who live by ideals in a world ruled by ambition are walking toward their own destruction. He wrote The Prince not as a guide for monsters, but as armor for those who refuse to be victims. This video is not about becoming evil. It is about becoming untouchable. Because in a world where everyone is playing games, the most dangerous position is believing no one is. And once you understand this truth, you can never go back to innocence. Why morality fails in power games. Machiavelli believed something that made him hated for centuries, not because it was cruel, but because it was true. Morality collapses the moment power is at stake. In peaceful moments, people praise honesty, kindness, and loyalty. But when survival, status, or advantage is threatened, those values disappear instantly. Machiavelli watched leaders fall because they believed people would act morally when it mattered most. They trusted promises. They honored agreements. They assumed gratitude would protect them. It never did. The moment circumstances changed, allies turned into predators. Promises turned into excuses. And morality turned into a weapon used against the naive. Machiavelli did not argue against morality. He argued against depending on it. A ruler who behaves morally in an immoral world will be destroyed by those who do not. This is why Machiavelli wrote that a leader must learn how not to be good. Not because goodness is evil, but because blind goodness is suicidal. History proves this endlessly. The honest ruler is admired, then removed. The kind leader is loved, then exploited. The forgiving leader is respected, until forgiveness becomes weakness. Morality works only when everyone follows it. Power exists because they don't. This is the brutal paradox Machiavelli exposed. People want leaders to be moral until morality stands in the way of their interests. When betrayal brings reward, people betray. When cruelty brings security, people become cruel. When deception brings power, deception becomes virtue. Machiavelli understood that power is a game played with perception, not intention. What matters is not what you are, but what people believe you are capable of. A ruler who appears incapable of cruelty invites attack. A leader who appears endlessly forgiving invites rebellion. A man who refuses to protect himself in the name of goodness becomes prey. This is why Machiavelli insisted that power must be flexible. You must be moral when morality strengthens you, and you must abandon it when morality threatens your survival. The world does not reward purity. It rewards those who understand when purity becomes a liability. This is not cynicism. This is clarity. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Fear versus love. Machiavelli's most misunderstood rule. This is the line that made Machiavelli infamous. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. For centuries, people misunderstood it. They thought Machiavelli was telling leaders to become monsters. He wasn't. He was exposing a psychological truth that people still refuse to accept. Love is fragile. Fear is stable. Love exists only as long as people benefit from you. The moment circumstances change, love evaporates. Fear does not. Fear survives hunger. Fear survives ambition. Fear survives temptation. Machiavelli observed that people betray those they love far faster than those they fear. Why? Because love asks for gratitude. Fear demands consequences. When people love you, they feel free to disappoint you. When people fear you, they hesitate. That hesitation is power. Love makes people comfortable. Comfort breeds entitlement. Entitlement breeds disobedience. Fear creates boundaries. Not terror, predictable consequences. Machiavelli never argued for cruelty. He argued for certainty. A feared ruler is obeyed because people know the rules. A loved ruler is tested endlessly because people believe forgiveness is guaranteed. Think about this carefully. People break promises to kind leaders all the time. They cross boundaries just once. They take advantage just this time. Why? Because kindness signals safety. Fear signals limits. Machiavelli understood that human nature responds not to morality, but to incentives. If betrayal costs nothing, people betray. If disrespect has no consequence, people disrespect. If rebellion is forgiven, rebellion grows. This is why fear must be controlled, not explosive. A ruler who is unpredictable creates chaos. A ruler who is consistently firm creates order. Fear works only when it is calculated, not emotional. The greatest leaders in history were not hated tyrants. They were men whose strength was unquestionable. People obeyed them not because they were cruel, but because resistance was pointless. Love can exist alongside fear, but only if fear comes first. Without fear, love turns into manipulation. Without strength, kindness becomes weakness. Machiavelli's warning was simple. If you rely on love alone, you place your power in the hands of others. If you rely on fear wisely, power stays in yours. The world doesn't reward intentions. It responds to structure, and fear is structure. Appear virtuous, not weak. The power of image. Machiavelli understood something most people never do. Reality does not decide power. Perception does. People do not judge you by what you truly are. They judge you by what you appear to be. This is why Machiavelli warned leaders. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Image is power's armor. A ruler who is virtuous in private but weak in public will be destroyed. A ruler who is ruthless in private but virtuous in public will survive. This is not hypocrisy. It is strategy. People need symbols more than truth. They follow stories, not facts. Machiavelli observed that leaders who openly displayed mercy, honesty, and humility were admired, until those traits invited attack. Why? Because visible virtue without visible strength signals vulnerability. People respect virtue only when it is backed by power. This is why Machiavelli advised leaders to appear compassionate, faithful, humane, and moral, while remaining capable of deception, force, and cruelty when necessary. Appearances calm the masses. Strength controls threats. A leader who openly admits uncertainty creates instability. A leader who projects confidence creates obedience, even if that confidence is manufactured. The public does not demand perfection. It demands reassurance. They want to believe the person in control knows what they're doing. This is why image management is not optional. It is survival. If people believe you are strong, they will hesitate to challenge you. If people believe you are fair, they will tolerate your decisions. If people believe you are moral, they will forgive your actions. But if people believe you are weak, none of that matters. Weakness cancels virtue. This is where most people fail. They confuse authenticity with transparency. They reveal doubts. They expose intentions. They show fear in the name of honesty. Machiavelli would call this self-destruction. A leader must be legible enough to inspire trust, but opaque enough to prevent attack. You do not show every thought. You do not explain every decision. You do not reveal every struggle. Power requires mystery. When people cannot read you completely, they assume depth. When they cannot predict you, they hesitate. When they hesitate, you control the tempo. Appear virtuous. Act decisively. Reveal selectively. This balance, not honesty, not cruelty, is what preserves power, and those who master it are rarely challenged. Why deception is a tool, not a sin. This is where Machiavelli truly terrified the moral world. He said what most people are too afraid to admit. Honesty is not a virtue in power. It is a liability. Not always, but often enough to destroy those who cling to it blindly. Machiavelli observed that people lie constantly. They lie to gain advantage. They lie to escape consequences. They lie to protect themselves. Yet society demands that leaders remain truthful, even while everyone around them deceives without shame. This creates an imbalance. A leader who refuses deception in a deceptive world fights with one hand tied behind his back. Machiavelli did not praise lying. He praised control. Deception to him was not immorality, it was defense. A fox survives not by strength, but by intelligence. And the fox lives longer than the lion when traps are everywhere. Machiavelli warned that those who rely on honesty alone will be outmaneuvered by those who do not. Promises are broken the moment they become inconvenient. Agreements are forgotten the moment power shifts. Truth is respected only when it aligns with interest. So the intelligent leader does not ask, "Is this honest?" He asks, "Is this effective?" This is the uncomfortable truth. People do not reward truth. They reward outcomes. If honesty leads to collapse, it is not noble, it is foolish. If deception preserves order, it becomes necessary. Machiavelli argued that deception must be precise, not constant. A leader who lies all the time loses credibility, but a leader who lies strategically controls the narrative. Truth should be revealed when it strengthens you, hidden when it weakens you, delayed when timing matters more than transparency. This is not manipulation for ego, it is manipulation for survival. The masses do not need full truth. They need stability. They do not need explanations. They need confidence. Machiavelli understood that most people do not want reality. They want reassurance. And reassurance often requires illusion. This is why successful leaders rarely tell the whole story. They tell the useful story, not to dominate, but to prevent chaos. In Machiavelli's world, deception was not evil. Naivety was. And the most dangerous person was not the liar, but the honest man who trusted liars. Why being hated is less dangerous than being despised. Machiavelli made a distinction so sharp that most people miss it completely. Being hated is survivable. Being despised is fatal. Hatred still recognizes strength. Despise does not. A ruler can survive hatred because hatred comes with fear, respect, and caution. But when people despise you, they no longer fear you. And once fear disappears, rebellion begins. Machiavelli observed that people tolerate cruelty far longer than weakness. They endure strict rule. They endure harsh decisions. They endure unpopular leaders. But they never tolerate leaders they see as small. Despise grows when a leader appears indecisive, inconsistent, or easily manipulated. When promises are broken without consequence. When threats are made but not enforced. When authority is displayed but not backed by action. This is the fastest way to lose power. People will complain about a strong leader. They will mock a weak one. And mockery is the first step toward destruction. Machiavelli warned rulers above all else to avoid contempt, not hatred, contempt. Why? Because hatred still fears retaliation. Contempt assumes none will come. A leader who is feared can restore order instantly. A leader who is despised must beg. Once begging begins, power is already gone. This is why Machiavelli insisted that leaders must never appear frivolous, indulgent, or controlled by others. Once people believe you are ruled by emotion, desire, or pressure, they stop taking you seriously. And when seriousness disappears, authority follows. Strength does not require cruelty, but it does require consistency. If you punish, punish fully. If you forgive, forgive strategically. If you set rules, enforce them. Nothing breeds contempt faster than selective enforcement. People accept harsh laws when they are predictable. They reject lenient laws when they are chaotic. Machiavelli understood that power rests not on affection, but on dignity. Dignity comes from restraint, from composure, from the quiet certainty that crossing you has consequences. You can be disliked, you can be criticized, you can even be hated, but you must never be laughed at. The moment people feel safe mocking you, power is already slipping through your fingers. In Machiavelli's world, hatred was noise, contempt was a death sentence, and the wise leader avoids it at all costs. Why power must be centralized, never shared. Machiavelli understood a truth that destroys empires when ignored. Shared power is fragile power. The moment authority is divided, loyalty fractures. People believe sharing power creates balance. In reality, it creates competition. When multiple hands hold power, each hand watches the other, not the enemy. Machiavelli saw this repeatedly in governments, armies, and courts. Rulers who delegated too much became dependent. Leaders who shared authority became negotiators instead of commanders. And negotiators do not survive power struggles. When power is centralized, responsibility is clear. Obedience is direct. Decisions are decisive. When power is divided, accountability disappears. Everyone blames someone else. Everyone hesitates. Everyone waits. And while they wait, enemies move. Machiavelli warned that those closest to power are the most dangerous. Not because they are evil, but because proximity creates ambition. When people taste influence, they want more. A ruler who elevates others too far creates rivals. A leader who spreads authority too thin creates rebellion. This does not mean ruling alone. It means deciding alone. Advisors may speak, councils may suggest, but the final word must belong to one voice. Once decisions require consensus, power slows, and slow power is dying power. Machiavelli understood that people respect clarity more than kindness. They want to know who is in charge. Ambiguity creates instability. Instability invites challenge. This is why strong rulers often appear solitary, not because they are isolated, but because authority cannot be diluted. Shared power also creates betrayal. When two people share authority, each wonders if the other will strike first. Suspicion grows, alliances form, secrets leak, and eventually, conflict becomes inevitable. Machiavelli believed it was safer to rule with clear hierarchy than shared command. Power concentrated in one center creates order. Power scattered creates chaos. This principle applies everywhere: in leadership, in business, in influence. The one who decides controls direction. The one who hesitates loses it. Power cannot be democratic. It can be strategic, but never equal. And the ruler who forgets this rule becomes a figurehead, while others rule in his shadow. Why fortune favors the bold: timing and ruthlessness. Machiavelli believed fortune was not luck. It was a force that rewards those who act decisively and destroys those who hesitate. He compared fortune to a violent river. When calm, it can be guided. When raging, it destroys everything unprepared. The mistake most people make is waiting for perfect conditions. Perfect timing does not exist. There is only opportunity, and opportunity decays fast. Machiavelli observed that bold leaders survive chaos better than cautious ones, not because they are reckless, but because hesitation creates vulnerability. When fortune shifts, those who move first define the outcome. Those who wait are forced to react. And reacting is always weaker than initiating. This is why Machiavelli warned against half measures. Partial action creates enemies without eliminating threats. Incomplete decisions invite retaliation. Mercy without control breeds rebellion. If force is required, it must be decisive. If action is taken, it must be final. Ruthlessness, to Machiavelli, was not cruelty, it was clarity. Quick, decisive action creates shock. Shock creates obedience. Obedience creates stability. Slow punishment breeds resentment. Delayed action breeds defiance. This is why Machiavelli advised rulers to strike swiftly when necessary. Not repeatedly, not emotionally, but once and completely. Fortune favors those who control momentum. Boldness seizes momentum. Caution loses it. When a leader hesitates, others sense fear. When fear is sensed, resistance grows. Machiavelli believed that fortune favors youth over age, not because youth is wiser, but because youth is less restrained by fear of loss. Those with too much to protect hesitate. Those willing to risk power often gain it. This is the brutal truth. Power is not preserved by caution alone. It is preserved by adaptation. When times change, methods must change. Those who cling to old strategies are destroyed by new realities. Machiavelli admired leaders who adjusted their behavior with circumstances. Gentle when possible, forceful when required. Those who could not adapt were overthrown. Fortune does not reward morality. It rewards alignment with reality. And reality favors the bold. Why neutrality is the most dangerous position? Machiavelli had no patience for neutrality. To him, neutrality was not wisdom. It was cowardice disguised as caution. He observed that in every struggle for power, there are only two roles: those who choose a side and those who become victims of both. Neutrality creates no allies, it earns no loyalty, it inspires no fear. And when conflict ends, the neutral are punished by the winners and despised by the losers. Why? Because neutrality signals weakness. It tells the world you lack conviction, that you are afraid to commit, that you can be pressured. Machiavelli watched rulers attempt to remain neutral during wars, rebellions, and political struggles. They believed staying out would protect them. It never did. When one side won, they remembered who stood with them and who didn't. The neutral ruler gained no gratitude, only suspicion. Machiavelli warned that people respect commitment, not indecision. Choosing a side creates enemies, but it also creates defenders. Remaining neutral creates neither, and power cannot survive without defenders. Neutrality also invites invasion. Those who refuse to align appear undefended, unprotected, easy. Strong powers do not respect neutrality. They exploit it. They use neutral ground as leverage, supply routes, or bargaining chips. In personal power, neutrality is just as dangerous. The man who refuses to take positions becomes invisible. The leader who avoids conflict becomes irrelevant. The ruler who waits to see who wins loses influence with both sides. Machiavelli understood that risk is unavoidable. The only choice is which risk you accept: the risk of opposition or the risk of insignificance. Neutrality postpones danger, but guarantees it later, when you are weaker and alone. This is why Machiavelli insisted that leaders must declare themselves, not loudly, not emotionally, but decisively. Once you choose a side, people know where you stand. They adjust, they calculate, they respect clarity. Indecision breeds contempt. Clarity creates power. Even a wrong choice is stronger than no choice at all, because action can be corrected. Indecision cannot. In Machiavelli's world, neutrality was not safety. It was surrender. Why cruelty must be used once, not repeated. This is one of Machiavelli's most misunderstood principles. He did not advocate cruelty. He warned against repeated cruelty. There is a difference, and it decides whether a ruler survives or collapses. Machiavelli observed that people can endure a single shock, but they cannot endure constant fear. Cruelty used once, decisively, creates order. Cruelty used slowly, repeatedly, creates hatred. When punishment is swift and final, people adapt. When punishment drags on, resentment grows. This is why Machiavelli advised rulers to commit harsh acts all at once, then stop. Shock stabilizes. Prolonged suffering destabilizes. A leader who hesitates, punishes lightly, then returns to punish again, appears weak. People do not fear him, they resent him. And resentment breeds rebellion. Machiavelli understood that human memory works in patterns. A single harsh act becomes history. Repeated harsh acts become identity. If people define you by cruelty, your authority erodes. But if they define you by order, strength, and stability, they tolerate even severe decisions. This is the paradox. Mercy applied too often looks like indecision. Cruelty applied too often looks like tyranny. But cruelty applied once, followed by stability, creates peace. Machiavelli believed that after decisive action, a ruler must govern gently, allow people to recover, allow normal life to resume, allow gratitude for stability to replace memory of pain. Fear fades, order remains. This is why revolutions succeed against weak rulers, not cruel ones. Weak rulers punish inconsistently. They threaten without acting. They act without finishing. This creates chaos. Machiavelli warned that half measures are the deadliest choice. If force is required, finish it. If discipline is required, establish it fully. If authority is challenged, respond once, clearly. Then stop. Power is not maintained through endless punishment. It is maintained through predictability. People will obey harsh laws they understand. They rebel against gentle laws enforced randomly. The ruler who understands this rules longer than the ruler who seeks to be loved. Cruelty, when necessary, must be brief, then buried. This is not brutality, it is control. Why power is a system, not a single rule. Up to this point, you may think Machiavelli gave a list of rules. He didn't. He revealed a system. Each rule alone is dangerous. Together, they are unstoppable. This is where most people fail. They try to use one principle in isolation. Fear without control, strength without image, action without timing. And that imbalance destroys them. Machiavelli understood that power is not about isolated actions. It is about alignment. Fear works only when supported by consistency. Deception works only when protected by reputation. Cruelty works only when followed by stability. Boldness works only when guided by calculation. Remove one piece, the system collapses. This is why naive people fail when they attempt to imitate power. They act ruthless without structure. They appear strong without substance.
They manipulate without foresight, and they are exposed. Machiavelli never admired chaos. He admired order created through control. A true Machiavellian mind understands that power flows from three forces: perception, control, timing. Perception shapes how people see you. Control determines how they behave around you. Timing decides when action becomes irreversible. If you master perception but lack control, people test you. If you have control but act at the wrong time, people resist. If you act boldly without perception, people unite against you. Power survives only when these forces move together. This is why Machiavelli insisted on adaptability. The same behavior does not work in every situation. The same strategy does not survive every era. The same method does not defeat every enemy. Those who rigidly follow rules become predictable. Predictability becomes weakness. The powerful adjust without announcing it. They shift tactics silently. They change methods while keeping the same objective. This is the difference between people who study Machiavelli and people who understand him. Machiavelli did not teach cruelty. He taught precision. He did not teach deception. He taught discernment. He did not teach domination. He taught survival in an unstable world. Once you see power as a system, not a list, you stop asking, "What rule should I use?" and start asking, "What does this moment demand?" And that question is where real power begins. The Machiavellian transformation, why you can never go back. At this point, something inside you has shifted. You don't see people the same way anymore. You don't hear words the same way. You don't interpret kindness, loyalty, or respect the way you once did. That's not accidental. That is the Machiavellian transformation. Once you understand how power actually works, you can never return to innocence. You can never again believe that effort guarantees reward, that honesty ensures protection, or that kindness alone creates safety. Machiavelli shattered those illusions 500 years ago, and now they are shattered for you. You've learned that power does not announce itself. It observes. It waits. It moves when resistance is weakest. You've learned that people respect strength more than intention, consistency more than emotion, and control more than explanation. You now understand why the world feels unfair, because it was never designed to reward virtue alone. It rewards awareness. From this moment forward, you will notice patterns others ignore. You will sense manipulation before it happens. You will recognize loyalty that lasts and loyalty that dissolves under pressure. And most importantly, you will stop bleeding power unconsciously. You will speak less, reveal less, react slower. Not because you are cold, but because you are no longer naive. Machiavelli did not create monsters. He created survivors, men and women who could navigate unstable systems without being destroyed by them. This knowledge does not make you cruel. It makes you prepared. It does not strip you of morality. It gives you choice. You can still be kind, but now it is strategic. You can still be honest, but now it is selective. You can still trust, but now it is earned. And that is the difference between power and vulnerability. The world will test you after this. People will push boundaries. They will sense the shift. Some will respect you more. Some will fear you quietly. Some will fall away. Let them. Power always demands separation. But remember this: the goal was never domination. The goal was never manipulation. The goal was freedom from being controlled. And now you have it. Once you see the game, you are no longer a piece on the board. You are a player, and players never go back.